I went from this to this in 6 weeks. Let me show you how I did it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gathering Moss YouTube channel. My name is Phil, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and check us out again today. What we're talking about today is hoya propagation in specific, but it could be for any plant really. It's an easier way to propagate without using water or moss or perlite or big containers or anything other than just some basic things that we would need with plant growth anyways. And we're going to set these up so that they're not only going to propagate in the way that we do it, but they're going to stay in these containers for quite a while. So I think it's a really good way of propagating, and hopefully you'll check it out and try it for yourself. So let's get started. Now I showed you originally my Hoya linearis. I've propagated that quite a bit. I love that plant. It's an easy growing plant. I know some people have difficulties with the plant, but to me it's a very fast growing plant, and I found that it's really easy to propagate with stem cuttings and single node cuttings. I've even did some of those with no leaves, and I've gotten growth out of them. But the way that I propagate is not the normal way. I don't use water. I hate water propagating. I never had much luck with it when I first started out. I did a lot of things in perlite. I lost a lot of things in perlite. So I don't like that method either. I never got into sphagnum moss. I know sphagnum moss is part of our trade. We do all our grow trunks with sphagnum moss, but I've never really found it a good way to propagate. I never really got into it. I know a lot of people do anthurium seeds in sphagnum moss. I don't do that either, because I found the best way to do it is to propagate your plants in whatever medium you want them to be in long term. So if I'm going to put them into a soil mix, I'm going to put them in that soil mix to propagate. I do that with my anthurium seeds. I do it with my Hoya cuttings. I've recently started doing it with my philodendron cuttings. I just find it's a good way to propagate because I don't have to move them around. I don't have to leave them in water for 6 months, waiting for roots to develop, only to take them out, put them into soil, and have the roots die off because they're used to water. I don't have to put them in a perlite container and leave them for 6 months. I can put my Hoyas in a cup with my fill dirt, which fill dirt is a tree fern fiber based soil medium. I can leave them in there for 2 weeks, and I will have root growth within 3 weeks at the most. Sometimes within 2 weeks, I can have new stem development. So I've found no reason why I would need to propagate any other way than this. It's as basic as can be, and I'm going to show you how we do it right now. Okay, so the plant that I'm going to show this on today is my latifolia pot of gold, one of my favorite Hoyas. Just a really beautiful latifolia. I just love the pot of gold part of these plants. As you can see, the middle part is yellow, or aria, I think we like to call it in the philodendron world, which just means yellow or golden, I think in Greek or Latin or one of those foreign languages. But it's just a beautiful plant. It's grown out really well for me. I got this as a 1 node, I think 2 leaf cutting when I originally got it, and it's grown, as you can see, it's grown quite a bit. I've probably had it 3 months. once again, this one's growing in our Chunky Max mix, which once again is a tree fern fiber based product. Just a little bit more, a little innovative on this one. We do cocoa coir chips along with the tree fern fiber, perlite, pumice, some fluval stratum we have mixed in there, and it's becoming one of our it's becoming our popular soil mix. Fill dirt was for a while, but I kept getting hollered at that it wasn't chunky enough, which I still don't agree with, but it is what it is. And but this one's a lot chunkier. This one's not quite as chunky as we even do it now, because people were saying even more chunk, so we added more cocoa coir chips. So unlike a lot of the mixes that are out there, we combine our cocoa coir chips with tree fern fiber, which tree fern fiber to me is the #1 root growth stimulator there is out there. I've found nothing yet that didn't grow well in tree fern fiber, especially root development. We also combine that with GT Technology Foliage Focus and GT Technology Root Zone, which lights out are the two best nutrient blends out there for your growth, especially Root Zone. Root Zone has really been a game changer for me and has really combined with the tree fern fiber to just make roots explode. So I highly encourage you to give that a shot at some point if you get a chance. You're going to find that it is just going to knock your socks off with root growth. I haven't found a plant yet that didn't like it. So once again, a combination of tree fern fiber with GT Technology Focus, GT Technology Products, Foliage Focus, and Root Zone. And you're gonna find your roots just going crazy. So let me get set up here just a little bit and I will be right back and we'll get this started. Okay, that's probably a lot better angle for everybody. You don't have to see my ugly mug anymore. So once again, we are gonna work on this little cutie right here. This is my latifolia pot of gold. Beautiful variegation, intervariegated leaves. Just such a beautiful plant, and I love the leaf shape. I have the latifolia Sarawak also, one of my favorites. Back when I first got it, it was still being called the other name that just slipped my mind. But anyways, everything's latifolia now, so it makes it a lot easier. And that's the Sarawak is one of my favorites. But the leaf shape is completely different on this one, and just the elongated leaves along with that intervariegation just makes it beautiful. But we're gonna chop the heck out of this thing today, make some cuttings. The really nice thing about this is, and I'm going to make this video as short as possible so you guys don't have to put up with me too long here, but let me just explain a little bit. The really nice thing about this plant as far as propagating is, if you can see right here on the actual stem, there are little nodes on the stem where there's root growth already. They would have been aerial roots, but we're going to turn those into proper soil roots with what we do today. So we've got our plant, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get it off this trellis, this nice homemade trellis that's a work of genius, as Miro would say. It's not great, but it is what it is, and the plants stay on it, so that's all that really matters. I never said I was a genius at trellising until right now, but I'm being very facetious with that right at the moment. But we have our plant now off the trellis, and we're going to figure out where exactly we want to make our first cut. I want a nice long bit because I'm going to chop these into individual node pieces, and so I think we're going to start as close to the bottom as we can. I always like to leave a node further on than when I first got it, just so that it has a new place to start growing from. So I think my first cut is going to be about right here. And then that'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cuttings. So that should be a good start. So we're going to make our first cut. Actually, I'm going to go down here. We'll dare. We're going to dare fate. So I'm gonna cut down here, and the way I like to cut is just about 1/4 of an inch above the node. So I'm going to make my first cut right here. And I try to make as good a clean cut as I can. And the other thing that I just remembered that I forgot is I always, well, I don't always, but what you should do probably is use some alcohol wipes, or if you have alcohol around the house, preferably not the kind you drink because that would just be wasteful. But use some alcohol to wipe down your shears. It makes sure that you have no bacterial issues with your plant. Now what I do instead, just to make sure, is I use a product called Physan 20, which is a fungicide, algicide product. I combine that in all my water just to try to keep algae down, but it is also good as a fungicide, so it is treating my plants with every watering. So we made our first cut, so we've got a nice clean cut here at the end. And what I'm going to do then is just proceed on up this cutting 1/4 of an inch above the last node and making a nice clean cut. And we have number 6, and number 6 has some baby leaves on it, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this as one piece, just because it may be able to support itself a little bit better with those little leaves, and I might not lose them. Like I said before, there is some node growth here. I hope you can see that. Just some little nodes right there that we will get root growth out of. So hopefully they grow quickly enough that we won't lose our baby leaves here, and I would hate to, because that guy's kind of cute. Got some good color. And then up here we've got some really tiny ones coming in red. But we'll stick those together. Now I know in most cases people like to leave them dry a little bit, but I don't tend to worry about that too much. A lot of the hoyas, and I'm trying to make a list, I know the linearis it bleeds a white. I think it's bleeds. I'm not exactly sure what that is. It's some kind of a latex. But these are clear, and there isn't a lot of liquid to them. So a little bit different there. So we've got our cuttings, and once again we've got 6 of them. And I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to use for propagating. And this is it right here. This is a 3 ounce, I think it's 3 ounce. I have to remember from my Gordon's. I got these at Gordon's. They were actually 5 ounces. I got these at Gordon's. Costs $3.49 for, I don't know, I think there's 100 in here. I don't know exactly, but there's a lot. There's quite a few in here, but I use these all the time. These are the best cups in the world for propagating. But so once again, a 5 ounce cup, and it's filled with fill dirt. So once again, a tree fern fiber based product. No cocoa coir chips in this one, just orchid bark, perlite, pumice, a little bit of fluval stratum, some biochar, just to make sure that we keep any issues away from the soil. I like to mix in some biochar. So we have our cup, and this is where the process gets difficult. And I want you to really pay attention to what's going on here, because it's the key to the whole process, and it's also the most difficult part of the process. So here we go. We have our cup with our soil. We have our cutting, and please concentrate now, folks. This is going to be, you're going to want to remember this, so you may want to take notes, but this is where it gets difficult. I have my cup with the soil in it. I have my cutting, and here we go. and we're done. I know, you're probably going to need me to do it again just to make sure you can see what happened there, because I know it's involved. There's quite a few steps there, so I'm going to repeat it. Don't worry, this isn't the only time we'll do this. I'll do this a couple times just to make sure you've got it down. So let me get another cup, and now really concentrate this time, folks. Really concentrate. I've got my cup, I've got my cutting, and we're done. One more time, because I don't want to lose you on this, because I know there's a lot to this, and it's so important to get this correct. We've got our cup with our soil, and we've got our cutting. Oh, we'll do it a couple more times just to make sure you got it down. I don't want to lose anybody. So we've got our cup, we've got our cutting. Are you catching the drift, folks? Are you really catching it? Because I don't want anybody to feel left out here. I know this is involved, and I know there's a lot of steps, but just try to catch on to what I'm doing here, because this is the last one I've got. I've only got 2 more cuts, so you're running out of time. So cup, soil, cutting. One more time. Last time, folks. Catch it this time or you're out of luck. Cup, soil, cutting. I mean, really. I'm being a little facetious there, folks, but I mean, can you get any more basic than this? Can you make it any more easy than this? This is making it simple at the most basic level. I mean, all you've got to do is fill a cup with some soil, cut your plant. Like I said, I cut it a 1/4 inch above the soil, or the last node, and stick it in the soil. It's a little easier with these big stemmed hoyas than it is with like a linearis, because their stems are so small and flimsy. You may have to work a little bit to get that down in the soil, but with these, this is all you've got to do is just have your cup, and I like to fill the cup completely full. You can see here the soil is completely up to the rim of the cup, and then I just press it down in there. And the only other step there is to it is then I will take my my spray bottle, and you're thinking, why are you spraying this? This is filled with water. This is how I water all my plants. This is the easiest and fastest way to water 300 plants at a time. I can get my watering done. I don't do it all in one day, but I can get quite a lot of watering done in an hour. So, but I will just take this, and I've got my cup, and I'm just going to spray this down. Hopefully you can see that. But what I do is I'm going to fill this 3/4 of the way up with water. So you're going to see water up to this line of the cup. And that's why I really like these cups, because it gives me a visual indicator of where my water level is. We're just going to fill that up. And there the water starts to rise. And there it is. Now I've got water in this cup. I didn't put any holes in this, so the water's just going to sit in here. But the water is up to here, 3/4 full, and I am not going to water this again until I feel roots grown in there. And what's going to happen is some of this water is going to evaporate. But I found, and this isn't something I came up with. I came up with this through watching other videos. Hakuna La Planta, Kevin, does it this way. I think he actually fills even more water in his cups, or wherever he's propagating with. He tends to like pond. I'm not a big fan of pond. I really like our soil mixes with tree fern fiber, but I've found that a lot of water in the cup is going to really entice those hoya roots to grow. Now, if this was a philodendron or something else, I might keep the water levels a little bit less, But with Hoyas, I've found that they really like to have all that water in there for the roots to really sense that it's time to pop out. So I fill it up, like I said, if you can look at that, you can see it's right at that line in the cup. And like I said, I'm not going to water this again. Keep raising the cup too high, but I'm not going to water this again until I feel the roots have grown. These cuttings will go into my grow tent with higher humidity, higher light. It's not something that's absolutely necessary, but I think it will help with root development if you have some kind of a setup to root in. You can even go to, here in town in Fort Wayne, we have a Menards, and they have the little mini greenhouses that are just like a wire or a metal shelf with some wire shelving in between and just a plastic cover that goes over the top, and you can buy those for $30. So you could buy one of those and put a few lights in it, and that would really, with the water that's in the plants naturally, because you're watering them all the time, it really gets humid in those enclosed greenhouses, they could like to call them. They're just a mini greenhouse. So I would encourage you to get one of those. You can put those in a spare bedroom. I've got them in our grow room here. I've got 3 of them along with 2 grow tents. So I'm not a bit obsessed in the least, and I would appreciate it if you didn't say that, because it's not true. I'm not obsessed with plants, no matter what you think. But anyways, so yeah, we've got 3 of those in here, and they were inexpensive, less than $100. I've got plenty of room for plants and Hoyas to grow in. So that's all there is to this, folks. So let me change the camera back so you can see my face for just a few seconds, and then we'll get on to other things. All right, so there you have it. Just a really easy, make it simple way of propagating Hoyas, philodendrons, monsteras. I think any plant that you can think of would propagate very easily this way. And all you've got to do is you've got to have a cup with the soil mix in it. Preferably, I think if you had one with tree fern fiber, it would be a big help. I don't know that it's absolutely necessary. I'm guessing it would probably work the same with coco coir. But whatever medium you want to grow that in long term, just get a vessel filled with that, put the plant down in that medium, and let it go. Put it in a grow tent if you have one, put it in a mini greenhouse if you have one. Heck, if you have a greenhouse in the backyard, that's a great place for one. I wish I had one of those, but I don't have a backyard, so it doesn't really work out for me. But all you've got to do, once again, is fill your cup with soil, just like this guy over here. Fill a cup with soil. For Hoyas especially, you don't need anything really big, but fill it with soil. Take your cutting, stick it down in there, and just fill it with water. I say about 3/4, but you could fill it a little bit fuller if you wanted to, and then just leave it be. I would leave it be. I've seen root development doing this method in as little as a week, and I've seen new stem growth within 2. Now tell me you're getting that with water propagation, folks. Once again, this is the second video in our Make It Simple video series, and we are making it simple as can be with propagation. And this is just the Hoya latifolia pot of gold, and we'll show you again. We'll come back at sometime in the next few weeks, and I'll show you how they're doing. Thanks again for stopping by today and visiting with us. We really appreciate it. If you could, give us a like on the video if it helped you out any at all. Leave a comment down below on how you prefer to propagate if you have a different method. I really hope you'll give this one a try, because I think you're going to find it's lights out, much better than any other way to propagate Hoyas, philodendrons, monsteras, any of the other plants. And think about it, if you could, subscribe to the channel. We'd really love to have you coming back every once in a while to view our videos again. We're hoping the Make It Simple series will really catch on with folks, and they want to come back and watch it again and again and again when they want to make it simple. So once again, thanks so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everyone.